right, it's time to get going on the circle part of the rug now. I'm going to remove this pin. Some people like to keep it a little longer and you may decide you do, but I'm going to unhook it. And so we've got the 4 stitches facing this way. I'm going to turn them so they're going face down towards me. And what we're going to do is attach where we had the original hole at top here to right next to it in order to start our rug going around in a circle. All right, so again we have the runner is the light and the worker is the darker one. So we're going to take the toothbrush tool. We're going to go ahead and find that hole that we had in the beginning. So we'll start right in the middle there. We're going to go under that runner and up over the worker, and we're going to go ahead and make that stitch. So it's a little hard to show, but we're going to try and keep that runner straight. Keep some tension in there. It's a bit awkward when you first get started. It's probably the hardest part of the whole thing is just getting it started. All right. So we've gotten the 1 stitch. It's attached now. Now we're going into the next hole, and we're going to do the same thing. Go under the runner, over the worker, and pull it through. Main thing is we want to try and keep it as flat as possible when we're doing this, so that we can it won't get all bunched up and all wobbly, or not, that's not the word, all wrinkly is what I guess I'm trying to say. So all right, we'll go to the next stitch here, and we'll make another one. Right now I'm just doing regular stitches into the very next one that's there before we start increasing. So here's the next one, and we'll go in there, go in that hole, up under the runner, and pull that tight. Then we go to, let's see, I guess we could go ahead and we can go through the same hole, and now I'm going to increase a stitch. So I went in, as long as I go in the same hole, I'm increasing a stitch. I'm adding an extra stitch in there. And we'll just kind of work our way through there by moving this around a little bit with our fingers. There's a little bit of a bigger hole here. There's another way to add a stitch besides the one I just showed you. You can go ahead and go to the next stitch over, but twist it a little bit and go back through that hole again that we have there. That's kind of big. Let's see if you can see that. There's kind of a hole that's kind of wide there. We're going to go through that. Through that, we're going to go under the runner, over the worker, and pull it through. There, we've added that stitch now and closed up that hole, that larger hole, because we don't want any big gaps in it in our rugs. So here we go. Then we're back to just doing a normal stitch through the next. We went through the next hole and did the stitch, There. See, now we got a little extra hole there, so we're gonna go ahead and make once we get those holes in there, that's when we know we need to add another stitch. Then we can go to the next one, just right here, go under and over. So see, we're making that stitch. You'll see a little bit of the light color from the runner, but that is just the way it goes. You can change it up. You can make the whole rug the same color, depending on what kind of material you have to use. If you specifically go buy material to make it, you can choose whatever colors you want. If you're using scraps or older sheets and stuff, then just go with whatever you got, and it works pretty slick. Again, your strips, you can make them whatever size you want. Generally 2 inches to maybe 3 inches, depending on the thickness of your material that you're using. I'm going to run out of this strip, so I'm going to go ahead and put one on. And in the beginning, I went ahead and cut all my strips, and I put the holes right in there already, so that as we go along, they're ready to go. And I put them in a loose ball. They're easier that they don't go ahead and get all tangled up with each other. So it's just a little bit easier. But when you're adding a strip, you only do one at a time. You don't add a whole bunch and then roll it up or anything. You just add it as you go, just because it's a lot easier to work with. You don't get such tangles. So I would suggest to do that. And so far, all the other people I've seen do it also suggest the same thing. So there we go. Now we can go ahead and thread this one through, and we'll be good to continue on with the rug. Again, just make sure you have it as flat as possible so it doesn't start puckering on you. Once you do see this in person when you're working with it, you'll get the hang of how the holes fill in. See, now that filled in real nice. But we can see that it's not quite round here, so we better add a stitch there. And once you get going on it, it'll just be very easy to do it. It's quite kind of therapeutic for me. I really do enjoy making these. This is my first round one, though, which is kind of cool. So thank you for requesting that. Here I will need to make another stitch because I got a little bit bigger hole there. So we'll go ahead and you go back into the same hole. So you put like 2 stitches in that one hole. Then we'll go to the next stitch. Make a regular. Go to the next one. So kind of, it's probably about every 2 or so you make an extra one. See, now this hole is kind of big. I don't want to make an extra one in there just because that hole will get too large. So we'll go to the next one. This is where we twist it. We'll twist it and go back through and then under. There. And then just kind of work it with your hands, keeping it flat. Go to the next one. Keeping it flat so it doesn't roll over or start curling on you. Do a few more. There's the hole starting there again. You got to use your judgment on how big the hole is. If you think it's going to be too big, then go ahead and do that. Do the other increasing stitch, where you do the little bit of a twist. So I'm going to the next one here. Because see, it's pretty tight there, so I don't need to add a stitch right there. So I just added one. And I'll just kind of try and keep it flat. And you just continue on. I'm going to add another stitch here. It's got a little space. If you can see it, it's got a little space right there that we should fill in. So lay it back down. Do the stitch and go to the next. There we go. All right. And we just keep going around and around and keeping it flat as you can. Again, they're really wear well. You can flip them over and they're basically reversible. So you get them dirty on one side, flip them over and use it until that side's dirty, then wash them up. They wash up really well, especially if you've used material that has already been pre-shrunk, such as old sheets and bedding. You can use t-shirt material. People use that all the time as well. I'm not sure that I would combine the two, sheets and the t-shirt material, but you certainly can test however you want to do it. All right, so now here's one with a bigger hole. I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna twist it back through that hole, back through that bigger hole, and make that stitch. You're filling in the bigger hole, plus you're adding the stitches that you need. So, all right, well, I hope you guys have great luck doing this, and God bless you for doing this for the women and teaching them. It's awesome, and thanks.